And welcome back to more political chatter. In this video, we will be talking about how Robert F. Kennedy Jr. just winning a few electoral votes here and there, as few as 3, can cause neither Trump or Biden to be able to get 270 electoral votes, which is how many you need to win, which is the majority in the Electoral College. There are 538 Electoral College members, and of course, you famously need 270 to win. That is the slogan. That is the majority, is 270. But what if nobody can win? Now, this rarely ever happens because, one, you have to have a close election between the two major party candidates, which this time in 2024 we actually do, and you also have to have the addition of a relatively strong third party or multiple third party candidates. And this is something else that we have in 2024 with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Because, in a close election, both candidates will be hovering right around 270. But if a third party candidate can get a few electoral votes here or there, then that can cause both candidates, neither of them, to be able to reach 270. And that is something that we actually could see in 2024, depending on how strong the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. campaign will be. But this is not something that happens frequently. The last time I believe this happened was in 1824, which, interestingly, is exactly 200 years ago, from 2024, of course. So, with that being said, let's just fill in this election map to see how Robert F. Kennedy Jr. can cause neither candidate, neither Trump or Biden, to reach 270. So, filling in the Democratic states, we have California, Oregon, Washington, Hawaii. These are just the safe Democratic states here, as well as Illinois, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine's 1st District, as well as Washington, D.C., as well as Colorado and New Mexico, I guess we could fill in right now. As for Donald Trump, he wins Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Alaska, Montana, the Dakotas, Nebraska at large, Nebraska's 3rd District, Nebraska's 1st District, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, West Virginia, Indiana, Iowa, and Ohio. So that puts Trump at 218 electoral votes, Joe Biden at 209. Now we have quite a few swing states here, as you can see, but ones that we generally know how they are going to vote are states like Minnesota, which is most likely going to go to Joe Biden, and then we have North Carolina and Nevada, which are, very likely, as of now, to go to Donald Trump. And then we have some closer states like Georgia and Wisconsin, which I believe, as of right now, you can watch my predictions this video. I'm not going to go super in-depth about my predictions, but I think that these states go to Trump. And I think that Biden carries Nebraska's 2nd District, as well as Arizona, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. So we have almost every state filled in, except for New Hampshire, as well as, we can just give Biden the state of New Hampshire. I forgot to fill that one in. But all we have left is Maine at large, which has 2 electoral votes. And then we have Maine's 2nd Congressional District. Now, we have every other state filled in. And in any normal election, and this is my honest prediction as of now, right? This is how I really think every state is going to vote. But in any normal election, we would already have a winner, right? Even without Maine at large and a Maine 2nd District voting. But because of how close this election, I believe, will be, Joe Biden leads Trump, but is not at 270. He is at 269. Donald Trump is at 266. And RFK Jr. is at 0. But what if Robert F. Kennedy Jr. runs a strong enough campaign where he can win in the very independent, in the very open-minded and centrist and populist Maine and Maine 2nd, the state of Maine? What if he can perform well enough in independent-minded areas like Maine, like New Hampshire, like Alaska, like Utah, but especially Maine because they have the most independents, where he can win 3 electoral votes, just not winning that 1st congressional district, which is very Democratic. But if he can do that, then that prevents neither Biden or Trump from getting 270. Now, just imagine how chaotic that would be, because this is called a contingent election. And what happens in this scenario is the election goes to the House of Representatives. But it's not just like any normal House vote. No, every state delegation to the House, the Democrats and the Republicans, each state delegation puts up one vote. So that means that the state of California, with their 52 House of Representatives members, has the same influence, has that same one vote as the state of Wyoming does, which has one U.S. representative. So that really just adds a level of chaos to it. And in the 2022 midterms, this is the makeup right now, right? If this came down to a vote, you see that Republicans would win with 26 delegations, with 26 votes. Donald Trump would be elected president, and Joe Biden would win 22. Now, Minnesota and North Carolina and these two states have a split delegation. As you can see, well, I don't have it up actually, but in Minnesota and North Carolina, there are the same amount of Democrats and Republicans, and if there's a split like that, they are unlikely to, be able to put up a vote. So, but still, it doesn't matter. And Republicans would win with 26 and 22. Now, this is the makeup right now, but in 2024, you see in North Carolina, the Republicans gerrymandered the districts, and they are almost definitely going to get a majority of seats there. So they pick up a seat, and, even if Democrats can pick up like a House seat in Montana, which I think might be close a little bit, in the 1st Congressional District of Montana, that would split it 1-1. And that would make it a toss-up, but still, Republicans are still able to win. So, but that, even that is unlikely to happen, and we're unlikely to see any change, from this map right now with North Carolina red. So Republicans in this scenario win. They do win. And I do take Maine, for example, for quite a few reasons, because we actually don't have individual state polls. We don't have a single individual state poll between Biden, Trump, and Kennedy. I know that how insane that sounds, but we only have national polls where Kennedy is included, really. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but it's very difficult to find results, statewide results at least, with Kennedy included, or, accurate, like trusted pollsters. But what we do have are these two polls conducted by the Kennedy campaign in the state of Maine, where he beats head-to-head against Trump. He beats Trump, and he beats Biden by 18%. Now, he did this poll in every state, and the result, and I will say this, it was very uncommon to see Kennedy beat Trump and Biden in the same state. Against Trump, head-to-head against Trump, Kennedy mostly just wins the Democratic states. And head-to-head against Biden, Kennedy just mostly wins the Republican states. But here in Maine, this is a rare example where Kennedy beats both of them. Just to show you how Maine is likely to be one of Kennedy's best states. And also, looking back in a point in history, you see that in Maine, the statewide vote for Maine, Perot almost won. He came in second in 1992. He's the independent candidate in 1992 who got 18% of the national vote, but he got 30.4% in Maine in the statewide vote. In Maine's second, he really almost won. He only lost by 4.4%. He won 33.2% of the vote, and he almost came in second in the 1st Congressional District. He did, I believe Maine was his best performance. I'm almost positive, yeah, from what I see. Maine was his best performance. So Maine has a history of voting for independent and whatever third-party candidates. I mean, they are very friendly towards third-party candidates, and that is because we have very independent-minded, more populist-minded voters in Maine, right? I mean, if you look at 2012, just to show you an example, Maine's 2nd congressional district voted for Obama by 8.5%. But when you look at just 4 years later, Donald Trump, with his very populist anti-establishment message, won by 10%. That is an 18-point shift to the right. Just looking at these two elections compared, if I could get it at least. So here we go. You see that from 2012 to 2016, let me just reverse these real quick. You see that very few, if any, states, so Maine's 2nd congressional district shifted towards the Republicans in a higher percentage, wise, than any other state or whatever district in the nation. You see that Donald Trump shifted Maine's 2nd 18.8% to the right, and no other state trended that much to the right at all in the nation. And that is because Donald Trump ran on an anti-establishment, very populist message, which really resonates. And this data, these votes, prove true that these voters are very populist and very independent-minded, meaning they are very willing to switch sides. They don't care which party you are, and that really helps someone like independents, who a lot of voters, even now, are very still hostile to vote for, right? They're very unfriendly, but towards third-party candidates. But Maine's 2nd, definitely not. So if there is a district or a state that would vote for Robert F. Kennedy Jr., that's Maine at large and Maine's 2nd congressional district, and that would result in the House of Representatives picking the president, and they would pick Donald Trump in that scenario. So thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you all enjoyed that. Would help out a lot. Leave a comment, drop a like, and I will see you all later.